Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for joining me in the locker room. I'm Alan Locher. Born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, actress Jessica Morris has built an impressive career in television and film. She is best known for her role as Jennifer Rappaport on One Life to Live. She has also starred as a lead in the Daytime Emmy-nominated Amazon Prime miniseries Ladies of the Lake and Ladies of the Lake: The Return to Avalon. A fan favorite on Lifetime, Morris has brought her talent to several TV movies, including The Wrong Man, The Wrong Teacher, and The Wrong Student, The Wrong Fiance, and Pool Boy Nightmare, among many, many others. She will soon return to Lifetime as the lead in Danger in the Spotlight, which is set to premiere on the network on August 27th. Please welcome back to the locker room, Jessica Morris. Hey, Jess.
Hi, what an intro. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How's your summer going?
It doesn't really feel like a summer, to be honest. I was just thinking that, summer is normally my favorite season, and I love warm weather, but I've been working so much that I haven't been like at the beach, on vacation, doing the whole summer thing. So I'm kind of just ready to like stop sweating and wear some boots and have it be fall and have a nice pumpkin spice latte. And I don't know, I'm kind of just ready for fall.
Are you in California right now?
I am, and it's very hot.
Well, I'm in Jersey and we're having like crazy heat wave. It is like 98
Really?
degrees or some, and the humidity here on the, you were here when you did One Life. The humidity in New York in the summer
Oh
is
yes, my
quite.
hair just yeah,
Is
just
it
fizzes
naturally
right out.
naturally
It's
curly?
naturally wavy. It has a little bit of wave, like not enough to have like that pretty permed looking hair, but just enough to where it could look really frizzy.
That's
So
funny.
yeah,
Well,
the drier
that-
climate is better for my hair.
air conditioning for sure.
Oh yes.
Do you get back to Florida much? Do you still have family there?
Yeah, my whole family's in Florida. I usually go back for the holidays. I didn't last year because of COVID and everything. I didn't really want to travel, and just I wanted to play things safe. But I definitely miss them, and I need to go back sooner rather than later.
What's it like growing? I don't know much about Jacksonville. What's Jacksonville like?
Well, it's very, even though it's kind of a bigger city and area, it's very small town feel. I mean, there's a lot of rednecks. There's a lot of it's very country, like all my family have southern accents.
Oh,
When I
really?
first, yeah,
In
I don't,
Jacksonville?
they all do, like, because it's very close to Georgia. So it's basically, it's very similar to Georgia. Um, Sometimes you can hear mine come out, but very rarely. And I said y'all when I first moved out to LA, and people kind of made fun of me, so I stopped doing that. But yeah, and I grew up on a lot of Southern food. And there's a lot of nice people. Southern people can be very charming and very hospitable and very, very lovely. But I also really love California because I feel that there's a lot of very like-minded people for me out here. That are, maybe a little more progressive in their thinking and just more
Yeah.
creative minded. Not that everyone's anyway in any area. I don't mean to say that, but generally speaking, I feel that I fit in a little bit more in California.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Remind me, I might have asked when you were on last summer, which is almost a year ago that we had the Rappaports together. I think it was
Oh
July
yeah,
of
that was so fun.
July. Remind me, who or what influenced you on becoming an actress?
It wasn't any one in particular. It was just the fact that it was from a very young age when I started, acting in plays. It was the only thing that kind of helped me to come out of my shell and not be so shy.
Right. Yeah.
And
That I remember.
yeah, and for some reason, for me to to just delve into characters and sort of express myself through another person just gave me this confidence, and it always kind of came a little natural to me. So, and I just always loved it so much. There was nothing else. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I went and looked to, a little bit of school, college. I was trying to figure out what is going to make me happy. And I had friends that were just like, the only thing you've ever loved doing is to act. So why not go to LA? And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. So I just saved
Well,
a little bit of money and packed up my car and drove out.
from Florida, you drove?
Hmm.
Wow. What what's the earliest age you remember getting on stage?
I was on stage a lot as as a dancer, but as an actor, it was a play I did when I was in junior high. So I was around maybe 11 or 12.
Do you
And
remember what play?
I don't, but I played this very kind of rich, like snotty, sophisticated, socialite type character, which was not like me at all. I mean, and actually, surprisingly, I play a lot of those type of characters today too. I guess I have the image that gets me cast in this kind of roles, but I grew up with, not a lot of money. And so I'm very down to earth in that way. And so it's just really interesting that I guess because it's so opposite from what I am, that it makes it fun for me.
Yeah, it definitely steps out of, who
Hmm.
you are as a person. Well, I know you traveled to Tokyo at 16 to model,
Hmm.
right? And to work with
Yeah,
a modeling agent there. You must have had some confidence because that's a pretty big deal at 16 to travel across the world.
I didn't really have the confidence. I mean, I gained some from that experience. I had never been out of town, even out of the city or out of the state, and definitely not by myself at that age. And I got the opportunity to go there through an agent in Orlando, and an agency in Tokyo picked me up and wanted to work with me out there over the summer. So I was just thrilled, and I was jumping up and down, and I was so excited and just ready to go. But I flew there, that long flight. I get there, I just had major culture shock. Everything was so different than anything I'd ever seen, and just the smells and the sights and everything. And I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. And I found a payphone, and I remember I called my mom, and I was like, "You have to come get me." And I was
Oh,
crying and I was freaking out. And she was like, "Jessica, I can't fly to Tokyo and come get you. You're just going to have to like." So it was a moment where it was the first moment where I had to just learn how to be strong on my own,
wow.
you
That
know?
that's pretty big. I mean, that's definitely
It
um
was scary,
I mean, that's
but it was
wild.
kind of, it was
Yeah.
kind of a, it was kind of a cool spiritual moment for me after that too, though, because like my mom kind of prayed with me on the phone, and, and we prayed that like, the fears would be taken away from me. And then I was walking down the street right after that. And I literally felt lighter. Like I felt everything just kind of come off of me. And all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, this place is really cool. And I started having a great time after that.
I mean, I'm sure like it's an experience you'll never forget, and
Yeah,
you probably learned quite a bit about yourself being there. Is it true
absolutely.
you got your first acting job, paid gig while you were there, a commercial?
That's true. Yeah, I was just mainly doing modeling, and then I booked it was a cheese cracker commercial with some Japanese comedian. I can't remember his name. And
Oh wow.
it was like a very suggestive commercial where we're on the couch talking and we're saying all these things that could sound sexual, but then the camera pans over to us and we're talking about the crackers. It was really
Were you,
silly, but
was it an English commercial?
I never even saw it. So it may have only aired over there. I'm not sure, but it was so
Wow.
much fun. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do, because the modeling stuff was just excruciating for me. Like having to just stand and look perfect. And I was like, this is so stressful and terrible. But that day when I did the commercial, I was on cloud nine. I just had so much fun.
Isn't it funny? Just, I mean, it's sort of the same thing, different, you know, different area of the business, but one thing can make you so uncomfortable and the other can just
Hmm.
open you so, so
Yeah,
wide to,
I guess because like acting is more like you're playing and you're connecting, and sometimes modeling for me feels like it's just so much about the image, and
hmm.
um, but I guess over time when I've done photo shoots as an actor, the older I've gotten, I can have fun with those, and it is a nice creative outlet too. And it's a way to express yourself. If you can let yourself connect through the photos, it can become more fun. But
Mm.
as a young girl who was very insecure and getting sized up based on my looks, that for me
At,
wasn't
six,
very satisfying.
at 16, I'm sure,
Yeah.
and definitely put up a strong front for that. Well, let's
Mhm.
talk about the new movie. another movie on Lifetime. It premieres August 27th. It's Danger in the Spotlight, and you play Martha. Tell us about the role and the movie.
Yes. So my character is a recovering alcoholic. She has a lot of baggage, and she's been fighting to kind of get back on her own 2 feet. She's been sober for a year. She's doesn't have full custody of her daughter because she's also her and her husband lost their son. He died, and then she kind of spiraled out of control. She lost her job at the hospital as a nurse, and now she's just trying to fight to get everything back. And the night before she has the hearing to get partial custody of her daughter back, she wakes up and there's a car accident, and it appears that it's her fault, and that she's been drinking because there was a bottle of booze in the car, but she doesn't remember drinking anything. And the other driver is unconscious. But my character, even though it's not the right thing to do, decides to flee the scene of the crime because she doesn't want to, risk losing her daughter. So then it turns out the woman in the other car is a famous ballet dancer, and who becomes paralyzed. So my character reaches out and ultimately becomes her caretaker.
Oh, wow.
And then there's lots of twists that happen after that.
That's great. I love that. That's great. What was it like? Did you shoot it during the pandemic?
It was earlier this year. Yeah, it was March of this year. We shot in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh, wow. What was that like?
It was cool. I like that little town. Yeah, I was mainly working most of the time, and yeah, just lots of COVID tests. Just like so many deep back in the nose jabs.
Oh.
Yeah. I know. It's just like, I must love this,
Oh, wow.
First thing in the morning, just.
Yeah, we were at dinner with friends last night, and one of the gals is traveling for work, and the company makes her do it herself. And I'm like, ooh, no,
I don't think I could do that myself.
Yeah, I have no interest in doing that.
Yeah, the nurse was like, you have to stop pulling back, because she would keep going deeper, and I would just kind of pull my head back. Yeah, it's not pleasant.
What's it like having a daughter on screen?
It's interesting. I've played quite a few moms now, and since I'm not a mom in real life, I'm always kind of like, am I going to be able to connect in this way? But somehow I do find a way, and a lot of times the actresses that are cast, they're so talented. It makes it easy because I'm like, you're just so adorable. I feel like I already care about you, especially when they look kind of like me, where I'm like, it kind of looks like a little me. And so I want to be I want to be protective. And yeah, it's surprisingly not as challenging as I was, worried about it being. Right.
Who plays your daughter in this one?
She's such an adorable actress. She's a local actress there. And I for some reason, the name is like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Totally.
What's the character's name? I'll see if I can find it.
I can't even remember that right now, to be honest. My brain is like mush, and I've been working so much that it's all kind of like blending together.
Well, that must be great though, huh?
Yeah, and my memory
work so much during this.
My memory with age is getting worse, but she's an adorable red-haired girl, and she was so talented, and we connected very easily. And yeah, we had some nice scenes together where I have to say goodbye to her at the courthouse, because I don't get custody of her, and some heart-wrenching stuff that we did together.
Well, the subject is, that definitely heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
And real subject matter that I think happens all the time, custody issues, sadly alcoholism in the family, and that being the cause probably. Now,
what I love about that, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what I love about that also is that a lot of times the protagonists in Lifetime movies, the ones that I've played anyway, they want them to be so, squeaky clean and, kind of perfect. But that's what I liked about this role, is that, she's trying to do the right thing, but she has a lot of issues that she's trying to overcome, relatable issues. And, she's kind of doing her best, but sometimes failing. And that made her a little more interesting for me to play.
When you get a part like that, that's a little different. Do you do anything different in researching or thinking about how you're going to tackle it?
Not necessarily. It just gives you more opportunity to like delve a little deeper.
Dive in. I mean, it sounds
Yeah,
like a meaty role. Now, you've
definitely.
appeared in a ton of Lifetime movies. What was your first movie with them?
I think my first one was The Wrong Roommate. I believe
And
that
what
was
is
the first one.
the Wrong series about? Tell for people who haven't seen those.
So they're not actually all connected. It's just they have the similar titles, and they're all completely different stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's usually like a wrong something or other who's trying to kind of kill kill the people or like come after them or mess up their lives. Typical Lifetime.
Were you a Lifetime fan yourself?
Oh yeah, I love Lifetime movies. I mean, it's one of those things where you have a day where you're just like watching movies on the weekend, and you can get caught up in those, and they just keep playing different ones one after the other, and before you know it, you're like, how many movies did I just watch while I was eating all that bag of chips? Yeah, I love them.
I mean, my God, Lifetime's been making movies for a long time now.
Hmm.
Long time. Is there a favorite movie you've done with them, or favorite part?
I would have to say one of the other ones that I have coming up that hasn't aired yet might be my favorite because that's the one that me and Melissa Archer wrote. We
Oh,
just shot it.
great.
Yeah, we just shot
Yeah.
it in Chicago, and I've been writing for years. And I think last year when we did the reunion, I had talked about how I hadn't really gotten anything going yet, but I, had some irons in the fire, and finally this one got greenlit and got made, and it's almost completely picture locked, and so hopefully it'll be airing this fall on Lifetime.
A- And you wrote it with Melissa,
Yes, me and Melissa wrote it,
and you
and
both are in it, right?
we're both in it as well.
Love that.
Yeah, so
What
that
was
was
it
really
like coming
exciting.
together again?
Oh my God, it was so fun. Because I haven't, she's living in Texas right now. So to see her in Chicago, it was like old times, like just being able to hang out and be on set together again. It was a dream. I loved it.
And how did you come together to write this? Had you talked about projects before?
When she was still living in LA, this was years ago. I mean, it was very many years ago that we started writing that particular project because we started just writing it for fun. There was one day we were actually like having margaritas by the pool, and we were like, let's make up a story. So we started just talking about these pretend characters. And we're like, we need to write this down. This is good. So we started writing it, and then we started, we talked to some producer friends of ours, and they were like, let's check it out. So we went through many, many different levels of different drafts and lots of different notes. It was about to go into production a couple times with different people, and then it fell through. And then finally, this time it actually worked. So it's been a long time coming for this one.
Margaritas can lead to some fun things.
Yeah, exactly. You never know where a margarita is going to lead to.
It's serious. That's great, though. One Life fans will be very excited, I think, to see the two of you and to know that you both wrote the story. That's really great. I wish you the best with that. That's
Thank you.
exciting. Um, Now, you appeared in the hit film Role Models alongside Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse, if I pronounce that right. What stands out from that experience for you?
What was really fun about that is the director, David Wayne, he let us improvise a lot, and
Oh,
because it was this, yeah, it was a very fun, lighthearted set, and he'd throw out alternate lines to say, and just getting more and more ridiculous. So there's just a lot of laughter, and for such a big project, Universal kind of thing, you would think it wouldn't be so, kind of casual in that way, but it was, and it made it. I think that's what makes the movie so fun to watch and so funny, because I think everyone just had a blast making it.
That's awesome. I love Paul Rudd. I saw Paul Rudd on the street once and I said, I love you, Paul Rudd. He said, I love you too.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, he's a great actor. Were
Yeah,
you a fan of the original Party of Five?
I was actually. Yeah, I watched almost every episode. It was a great
So
show.
what was it like getting to do the remake?
I mean, I was just really excited. I wanted to be a part of it, and I was hoping my character would come back because it seemed a little open-ended there, but then the show got canceled, so unfortunately that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a
But yeah, it
bummer
was,
because
yeah.
people love that show.
I know, I thought it was really good. So I didn't quite understand that, but you never know what the reasons are for those kind of things.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You really don't. And you recently recurred on the Netflix series The Upshaws with Wanda Sykes. That must have been a blast.
Yeah, it really was. That character was a little out of my comfort zone because she was just this sitcom acting is not something I've done a lot of. I've done mainly drama and thriller and some like movie comedies, but not like straight sitcom comedies. So and also I had quite a few lines and I auditioned for it. I think it was like the day before was the audition, and it was supposed to shoot like in a week and a half later, but then because of some scheduling changes, they basically called and said you booked it and you need to be on set like the next morning at 6 a.m. And they added all these other scenes. So I'm like looking at all these and I'm like, oh my God, like I need to fix my nails. Like, I don't know any of the lines. What am I going to do? So,
Panic
mode. So it is what it is. I would have loved, because I don't do a lot of sitcom acting, to have like gotten coaching and really worked on it and worked on the beats, but I just kind of had to wing it and do the best I could do in that moment. Sometimes that happens in this business.
Totally. And it seemed, like so many daytime actors who, find out they have to be on set tomorrow for the first time. They get the role and fly to New York, you're moving there tomorrow and you start Monday.
I know. It's such a whirlwind sometimes.
Would you like to do more sitcoms?
I would. I mean, I would never I would never say that I wouldn't want to do it, because depending on the role, I'm open to any opportunity. But maybe because it makes me feel so nervous means that I should do more of it, because it's a way that I should, broaden myself. But I prefer to do drama. Like a dream kind of show for me would be like a Handmaid's Tale or like American Horror Story, or, something that goes a little darker. And that's the kind of thing that I see myself being best at. But any opportunity.
Both of those?
Yeah. I do.
Great shows.
Great shows.
Mm-hmm. Both most recent seasons were really good of both.
Oh yeah, especially I love Handmaid's Tale. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Moss is just so
keep
good.
Putting it out there. Keep saying it, you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And you were a lead in Amazon Prime's Ladies of the Lake, which earned you a nomination for Best Lead Actress in a Drama at the Indie Series Awards. Tell us about Ladies of the Lake and the nomination.
That was a really fun show. I wish we could have done more of that. It was just a group of these wealthy, women who all had trouble in their marriages and love lives, and just very abusive kind of situations. And little by little, they all end up, through accidents or through premeditation, end up offing their husbands.
That's great.
But it's lighthearted. It has
I might have to check that out. I like that. That's fun.
But it has a very lighthearted kind of Dangerous Housewives kind of vibe. So it doesn't get too heavy. It's kept sort of, there's drama, but it's in a very kind of tongue-in-cheek comedic way. It's very entertaining. I loved it. The nomination, that was great. I don't put a lot of stock in awards and stuff like that. It's all just so subjective to me, and it's also very much like a political popularity thing, I feel, in a lot of ways too. So it's like an honor, but I'm also kind of just, I don't know, for me it just doesn't mean much. I don't know if that's terrible to say, but it's just how I feel.
No, but that's it's better to live your life that way. Yeah. I was looking at your IMDb. I mean, do you have any clue like how many things you have right now in production that haven't come out yet?
I don't.
It looks like it's quite a list. So
really?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it must feel nice, to keep getting work, because I mean,
it does, but it's the nature of what we do, though. It's you're always hustling for that next job. So even if I just did 3 films back to back, and I'm exhausted, I'm like, you know what? I'm fine to even have a little time off. I mean, not much more than like 2 weeks could go by before I'm thinking, am I ever going to work again? That's
Wow.
just how I naturally am. You know, I just don't, I don't allow myself to like sit still. And it's part of the game, but it also sometimes can be a little overwhelming because you're like, this is just part of what it is. You're constantly having to, unless you get on the series that lasts for many years.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but also, working hard now, later in life, you can enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm hoping to keep the writing career going because, at some point I can't ever imagine myself not wanting to be in front of the camera, but one day that might happen. And, writing is something I could do from anywhere. And that's just
And not
that's a
get
good
dressed.
option for me. Yeah, I could like not get
put
dressed.
makeup on.
I could gain weight,
Yeah.
I could let myself age gracefully.
Do you have
So,
other writing projects in the works currently?
yes, that's the same production company that just produced the one that me and Melissa wrote. We have 2 other projects in development with them that might end up happening the end of September.
Awesome.
One of them, and then the other one right after that. And then I have another one in development with a different company that I wrote by myself. So it's just a matter of like if and when they pan out. And then I have, once I have time, I've got some dream script ideas that I really want to work on. And, when I actually have the time to sit and
Right.
focus on them.
And not be in front of the camera. You need some time to sit in front of the computer and I assume type them out. You're not writing by hand.
No, no, definitely not.
So you're going to be seen in an upcoming horror thriller. Now, am I pronouncing it right? The Onania Club?
That's correct. Yeah, I don't know when that movie is going to air because we shot it a while back, and I guess it's having a problem with distribution because it's a very dark, very twisted movie, and it's gotten some distribution offers from smaller companies, but the director Tom Six, he had a lot of luck with his Human Centipede movies that got a lot of exposure. So he's holding out. He's holding out for a bigger distribution company that's willing to take a risk on this, very different kind of movie.
And what's the role you play in this one?
My character, Hannah, she's a very nice, Catholic wife mom, but who has this
another mom.
Right. But she has some weird issues where there's something called like Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
And so it's where, yes, she has I guess, I don't know if you call it a disorder or a fetish or just a weird situation where she gets excited and aroused by people's misery. And she doesn't understand what's wrong with her because normally she's this like nice person, but she has like a friend telling her about this horrific accident her husband was in, and her friend's very upset, and like she has to excuse herself to the restroom to like touch herself. It's very dark. And then my character basically reaches out, on the internet to try to find what this is, and because she feels the guilt, so this Catholic guilt, and like, I'm a horrible person, what's wrong with me, and tries to figure it out. And in the process, she meets a group of women who have the same issue. And it's this group of like these wealthy, like LA women who take her in, and they go to further and further lengths to create misery in others so that they can enjoy themselves.
I love that. That sounds good. I like that. And you've appeared in a few horror films: Living Among Us, The Sixth Friend, Art of the Dead. What do you like about the horror genre?
I mean, sometimes it just really takes you out of reality. I mean, it's just the fantasy element of it when it gets really outrageous. I mean, because it's not every day that you have, someone trying to kill you or that you're trying to. It's not every day that these kind of things happen. So yeah, let's hope. So it definitely like extends that imagination where you get to just dive into this pretend world that's just insane. And yeah, there's something really satisfying about that.
Have you done any of those horror cons?
Did I? I feel like I have gone to one, but I can't really, like I said, my memory. So it's bad. Um,
You're working so much that you're putting in so much dialogue,
I remember I don't ever forget my lines, but I forget names of people and I forget places that I've been. I'm like the old lady from The Notebook.
I love that.
But yeah, horror films. I remember there was one moment I was shooting some horror movie and I was covered in fake blood and I was sobbing. And like, as soon as they said cut, I just looked at myself and I was like, why do I love this? But I do. I'm having so much fun right now.
Well, it's probably really a lot of fun to be on a horror movie set. It really must, with all that, all of the, blood and guts and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Tony was asking, you finished Web of Deceit. Can you ask? He wants to know what is that about?
Oh, me and Melissa's movie. So that is about my character is a professor, an English professor, and I basically kind of take to this student of mine who's having a lot of family issues, and I don't realize that he has some mental illness, so he becomes very fixated on my character, and from there, just things kind of get out of control. There's the web of deceit is kind of that there's a lot of secrets that everyone's keeping, and they all kind of connect everyone without them realizing how they're connected.
Don't trust college students.
No, not at all.
Well, I know you and Jason Shane Scott will appear in A Mother's Terror later this year, also on Lifetime. Can you talk about what it was like to do another project with him?
Well, he wrote this one, so that was really great.
That's what I thought. Yeah. It's so weird that the Buchanan kids are not the Rappaport kids. Both.
Yeah. So this I know that we both became writers. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens. It's like it runs in the family or something.
Right. Yeah.
So this one was a different experience with Jason because he was the writer on this one. So it was kind of a different dynamic because he was able to give me some pointers and kind of tell me, okay, this is kind of what I meant when I wrote this, and kind of give me that inside scoop, so that made it a little bit different on this project with him, as opposed to us just both being actors on it. It was a really cool role, a really cool script that he wrote. I don't want to give too much away, but basically my character was known as a child for being abducted for many years. And then my character as an adult has written a book about it. And as my book's getting released, the man who kidnapped me is getting released from prison.
Wow.
And so and then I have a daughter who goes missing, and then just a lot of twists and turns from that point. And what I really liked about this character is that the relationship that my character has with the man who abducted her is so fascinating. I've never played anything like it, because he didn't abuse my character or anything. He was sort of replacing me with something else, and he treated me like a daughter, and he was very kind to her and loved her. So even though my character hates him for taking her away from her home and her life and her parents and all of this, at the same time, my character kind of looks at him as a father figure and loves him too, and worries about him, and thinks that he's, him going to prison, he was getting, punished for something that he did that was wrong. But at the same time, I feel for him and I miss him even, so it's this crazy dynamic that I've never played before.
Is it based on a true story? Because it sounds almost. It's not. Wow.
I mean, in no
is Jason
like
in it as right? I mean that, and maybe that's what I'm.
Right. It's like
having a recollection of.
Yeah, it's like Stockholm syndrome a little bit.
Is Jason in the movie as well?
He is. Yeah, he plays my character's boyfriend.
Just phenomenal that the two of you, are doing this. For you, when did you start writing?
I started.
Were you writing short stories when you were a young kid?
Yeah, I did. I was pretty good at writing as a kid. I won like some poetry contests and things like that. But then I kind of forgot about it because I got so into acting. And, there was a time when acting got a little slow for me years ago. And I mean, for years, people have been telling me, you need to write. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It's not what I want to be doing. And then finally, when I started writing maybe 5 years ago or something like that, I realized that I is the only other thing besides acting that I could do for hours on end and not get bored, not get tired of it. I could be into a script and get in a zone,
Oh.
and 8 hours could pass and I'm like, oh, did I even eat today? I just get so into it.
Was there something 5 years ago that just prompted you to sit down in front of the computer, a story that popped in your head, or?
It was around the time that me and Melissa started writing that script. And then from there, we wrote a couple more, and then I started writing on my own as well. And that kind of catapulted it.
I love that. When the two of you were at One Life, did you talk about writing at that point, or later after you both left the show?
It was later.
Later.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that too, the fact, another One Lifer, Jason, Melissa, you, everybody writing,
I know.
it's great.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
Well,
weird
I
as an
mean,
actor, like you
you're
realize, like,
making opportunities for yourself too.
yeah, you're making opportunities, and it's like as an actor, you don't realize how many scripts you've actually read. Like all the knowledge of like how to structure a script is sort of already there without realizing it, because all the scripts you've read for auditions or for shoots. I mean, if there was a file cabinet with all the scripts I read, it would be like papers would be flying out of it. So,
Yeah.
so
Well,
once
and
you
for
kind of,
actors like
yeah.
the three of you who've worked in daytime television, where you literally get a script daily, not, other actors who work in primetime or, do, a little something here or there. I mean, you sometimes, work 3-4 days a week and getting one script
Right.
after another.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of actors kind of get intimidated. They're like, I don't know if I could write, but like I feel like once you start, you have a lot more knowledge than you even realize, just based on being in the industry and reading so many scripts.
What would you say to somebody if they, just said, I'd love to write? What would be your first piece of advice?
I mean, definitely to take a lot of time on the treatment, like, because sometimes when you first start writing, you just want to hop into, you want to go on final draft and you just want to start writing the script and the dialogue. Because writing the dialogue is the fun part, and that can be the most fun. But you will be completely lost without an outline, like a really good outline, a really good treatment. Sometimes that is kind of it's not as fun, and it's can be excruciating trying to figure out the all the beats of the story, and having this map for your script. But without it, it makes it so much more difficult. So just taking that time to really map out and outline your project. Once you do that, then the really creative juices can start flowing with the dialogue and all that.
And for Web of Deceit, you and Melissa wrote it. Then you have to go pitch it to the network. What was that like? Did you like rehearse that? I'm not sure,
Basically, it was the producers that we were working with that made the connections with Mar Vista, and then Mar Vista has connections with Lifetime. So it kind of it trickled down with different people and what their forte is.
Do you remember you and Melissa getting the call that says, Lifetime's going to make the movie?
It wasn't like a, woo, I'm so excited because we thought this movie was going to happen for years now. Like, we thought it was going to happen once or twice, like, and be shot in different places by different production companies. So, so at this point, when they said we were shooting in Chicago, or giving us details, we were both very
skeptical.
We were very skeptical. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible to say, but we were kind of skeptical. We're like, let's have my plane ticket, then maybe I'll get excited. Or,
you had a lot of stops and starts.
Yeah, once we're there and the first day on set, then maybe I'll get excited. So finally, we were there. There was like a day on set where I looked at her and we're like, and we just started going like it's happening! It's finally happening!
High five!
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I don't, don't blame me. You can't get too excited, um, you know,
Yeah,
before you're there. A lot of
when
times,
you yeah, you learn your lesson from that, because I've gotten so excited about projects as an actor or a writer before, when you think they're happening, but then things fall through, and then you have to tell everyone that you were like bragging to about how the project's happening. You have to tell all of them, oh yeah, it's not happening, and that part sucks too, because then you seem like you're lying or something. Like, I wasn't lying. It just like it happens now. It was happening. Now it's not happening. And so now I try to keep my mouth quiet about things until I really know for sure it's happening.
Hmm. So speaking of One Life, you were living in California when you booked it. What was it like moving to New York City for the role? Had you ever lived in New York before that period?
No, I had not, and I'd only lived in LA for about a year and a half in Florida at that point, and I loved LA. I was like, this is home to me. It's amazing. I never want to leave. And then I booked the job, and they're like, oh, in like a few weeks, you're moving for 5 years to New York City. I was like, and of course, I just jumped in with gusto because I wanted to play this role, so I was just thrilled. But I was also, kind of just processing, wow, my life is going to completely change. And
That.
yeah, and I really love New York City. I'm so glad I had that experience. Everyone should live there at least once. Um, but the whole time, I have to
Did you
say, I
live on
did
the
like,
Upper West?
yeah, I lived on the Upper West Side, and just like there's so many great restaurants, and
Yeah.
I had a phenomenal time there. But I will admit, I mean, I'm more of an LA person, so the whole time I was there, I was kind of like, okay, 5 years, huh? Yeah.
What was it about the character that made you do it though? Because you said the character, you wanted to play this character.
Yeah, I mean, Jen Rappaport, she was like this bad girl that you also, I feel people kind of felt for her though, because she had this crazy mom, played like Catherine Nixon, and so she sort of like couldn't help that she was a mess, because it's just the way she was raised. She was trying to be a better person, and there's something kind of lovable about her. I really loved her, and I felt like she became a part of me.
Hmm. One of the fans, Justin, was asking if One Life to Live came back, but we know that your character was killed off. Would you consider playing a different character?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if I liked the character, I would definitely welcome that.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of your crazy mother and your father, what was it like having Catherine and Cal as parents?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Catherine's just amazing. She's such a great actress, and the role that she played was just bonkers.
Crazy, yeah,
Yeah, I
bonkers.
remember some of the scenes where she was actually in a mental institution, and the way she played it made me so terrified. Like the tears I had in the scene, and the fear, and like the heartbreak was so easy to go there, because the way she played it, like her eyes were just so glazed over and checked out that it was scary.
Wow,
Yeah.
that that's something. I bet I've loved her since Capital. She's so good.
Yeah, she's
She's
so
so good.
spicy.
What? Yeah, and like you said, a great actress. What
Hmm.
did all those years on One Life teach you that you've taken with you to everything else?
I definitely learned how to memorize lines quickly and to be ready to go on like the first or second take, ready to give it my all right away. And I also learned a lot of personal life lessons, because I was so young. I mean, I was maybe 21 when I hadn't had a lot of professional acting work before that. Um, and I was single, and I was working with a lot of cute boys, and I I had to learn how to be professional.
like some of these.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. I remember a few of
Who who's
them.
I don't know the one in black. Who's the one in black?
Michael Tips.
Michael Tips. I know everybody else.
Yeah, I can't remember his
Can you?
character name.
Okay. Can you give one word to all these people? To David,
One word. What do you mean?
like describing David
Oh,
Fumero. How would you
describe him.
describe?
Okay. How would I describe him? Um, Passionate,
Brandon,
sweet,
Aaron.
Fun.
You said Michael, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
He was a little mischievous.
and and Jason.
Oh, what's the word for him? Sweet. Well, I already said sweet for him, but he's such a sweetheart.
He seems like such a great guy.
I can't think of one word for him because there's so many that come to mind.
And then this one as well. Look at this.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I just realized that was Melissa. I didn't realize it was her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Melissa
I didn't realize. Yeah.
Oh wow. We're so young.
Great picture. Steven Bergman sent those.
How adorable. I love that. Those are great photos. I've never seen them.
Oh, I'll email them.
So okay, yeah, that'd be great.
So talk about Beacon Hill. You know, Crystal Chappelle's a friend, and I love that series. And you played Diane, who was involved with Sarah, played by Nadia Borlin, right? When you were there, it was Nadia. What was that experience like? Had you played a gay character before?
I don't think so. I mean, I may have, but the memory. Sorry, this is bad at interviews. I may have. I think in a horror film. Yes, in a horror film was The Living Among Us, and my character, her, it was like a weird thing where she had a kind of incestuous relationship with her vampire sister, and
of course.
And it was actually a friend of mine because the director, I was already in the movie and he needed her to come in to do like one day as this sister. And so I had my friend Amanda, who's an actress, come in. And so we laugh about it today because we had this scene where we had to like make out in the pool together. And we're all like, you were a great kisser. You were a great kisser. But so that was the only other time.
I love that.
But yeah, Beacon Hill was the first time that I played, you know, where I had an actual like, you know, relationship with another woman. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really see it as being any different than playing with a man. I mean, it's just you're concentrating on that person and the love and the feelings you have for them. So to me, it's not like a gender thing.
And was Crystal or Hillary directing?
Hillary, yes. And Hillary was, and then Crystal was as well. But I think Hillary directed most of my stuff, if I remember correctly.
So what was that like, having worked with her on One Life?
It was really cool to see her in that element. She's so good at it, you know, and she's always been a very take charge personality. So I think she fits as a director very well. And and you know, she's just such a sweet woman.
Do you have any desire?
Not right now. I mean, maybe that'll change, but I'm still kind of a shy person. Like I've met you before, I've talked to you before, I'm during this interview, but I'm a little sweaty right now because it makes me like I get nervous.
Me too. Don't worry, I do too.
Because I get nervous talking a lot with people, and so as a director, you have to kind of be that leader on set, you know, who's interacting with everyone and taking charge. And so I'm not quite ready for that. Maybe at some point in my life I will be ready to go there, but I'm happy sinking into the characters as an actor. I'm happy behind the computer, you know, writing. I can I can push through my shyness to do an interview or to go to a party and network, and that's about the extent of it at this point.
Well, that's good though. At least you know you are smart to understand where, like, not faults, but you know, your like a weakness or limitations. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know the right word for that, but yeah, I mean, as long as acknowledging those things and you work through them when you need to work through them, I mean, they haven't hurt you because you're doing quite well and you continue to do quite well. Who are some actors that you admire? I think you said Elizabeth Moss was one.
Oh yeah, I think she's so good. I mean, she nails every scene on that show. And I mean, other stuff she's done in the past, she's always been great, but I just watch her, and a lot of times you'll watch shows as an actor and think, why didn't I get a chance to play that role? I could have done that, maybe even better, you know? But when I watch her, I'm like, yes, I would have loved that role, but I could never do it better than you. Like, I just watch her and I just admire everything she does. Who else? I love I love Nicole Kidman. She has such, grace and
Yeah.
she really goes there in all of her roles as well. Those are two of my
Really,
favorites.
and she's had some in the last, decade, the roles
Hmm.
Nicole has had, really
Oh yeah, so many good roles. She was so good in Big Little Lies. Like she was to me the best thing about that show.
so good.
Hmm.
Really so good. And anybody who's watching this, if you haven't seen that, you must watch
Oh
that.
yeah.
Um, do you look at projects, things you watch like Handmaid's Tale or Big Little Lies, now that you write? Do you, are there writers you admire that work you're drawn to the same projects that these writers have done?
Yeah, I mean, I just I like stories that have a twist, and I also like stories that have a subtext of something more meaningful. Um, like I kind of want to do a project. Like I'm still, like I said, working on my dream projects and trying to create some things, but I want to do something that has a lot of fantasy, action, adventure, but also has this. While it's fun and crazy, I want it to have an underlying subtext of something a little more spiritual and something a little more meaningful, where you could watch it and just enjoy it for what it is, or also you could understand the deeper meaning in it.
That's great. You've mentioned it a few times, the dream projects. So, like, on your computer, is there like a list of like those ideas? Like, where are those? Are they just stored in your head, or do you have them down on paper somewhere?
I have a couple treatments. There's two of my
Okay.
favorites that actually, weirdly enough, I was just thinking I have these two ideas, and I thought, what if I combine them? It's like two kind of crazy ideas, and I'm thinking I'm gonna combine them. And when I'm able to, like, when it's finished, when it's gonna, go out into the world, one day I'll be able to tell you about it. But it's gonna be
Yeah,
really
yeah. No,
cool.
I wasn't asking I
No,
wasn't
I
asking
know.
but
Yeah.
the dream ideas. Um, have you ever taken a writing like class for script writing, or you really just because you've been
Yeah.
writing since you were a kid?
I've taken a couple creative writing classes, but also it's just the practice of doing it that really helps.
Repetition, I guess, right?
Hmm. Exactly. And also, you learn by, getting a bunch of notes from producers or through companies who are like, if you have to do draft after draft and fix all your mistakes, you learn that way. You learn, okay, this is what works, this is what doesn't work.
That's great. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, I didn't ask this earlier, but I should have. I'm like, what was it like? You did Web of Deceit, and like, I know you were excited when you got there, but then you're watching and acting your own lines.
Hmm.
Like, what was that like? That must have been pretty like surreal moment too.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I think sometimes people in that situation, if they hold on too much to the control of it, it can be, a situation where it's very frustrating. But luckily, I was kind of able to. I went into it with my head in a flexible place. So much so that when I was on set, I even changed some of my own lines. I'm like, even though
Mm.
I wrote this, I'm realizing now in the moment that maybe I want to switch it around a little bit. And that's okay, because once
Ah,
you're there in the setting, it does change. Things change all the time. The location's slightly different. Maybe the actor who's playing the role, is giving you something different. So you feel like your response might be slightly changed. So yeah,
well,
I just was very open minded when I went in, and it was good that I did that.
well, you said like Jason, he gave you more of what the meaning was. Like you knew what the meaning was, so like you could take that on and change it if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to.
Right. And I felt like I really just knew my character in and out because I've been writing her for so long that it kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if I liked it or not, because it was like, it's almost like normally I'm getting to know my character as I'm playing them, which is kind of part of the enjoyment of it. Like it's kind of, you know, unwrapping these layers as you're playing the role. But with this, I was just like, I knew who she was. So I'm like, well, let's just do this. I already am her.
Well, you definitely spent a lot more time with this character than you had with the Upshaws character.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
A little
definitely.
more preparation time.
I would say. Talk about the Bay. What was your experience like doing the Bay, playing
Yeah.
Catherine?
Yeah, I only did the one episode of that. They're lovely people, and it was fun to play. It was like the younger version of some character. I was kind of confused about what I was even playing, but she was having an affair with this guy's dad. So it had to be the whole moment where he was like walking in and catching us in bed together, and those scenes can be really interesting to play. So it was fun. Yeah, had a good time.
Yeah. The Bay. I've enjoyed the Bay. And I read, if this is true, you and Greg Rickard used to work at California Pizza Kitchen.
We did. Yeah, we did. It was like we used to get the giggles so bad because like neither one of us wanted to do that job. Obviously we're like auditioning and like, why do I have to do this stupid job? But we were both like working at the host stand, and I can't remember. Some lady came in and like people, some customers complain or they're very difficult. And she said something, but she had this really thick accent. And for some reason, like instead of helping her, like or being like saying the right thing as employees, we looked at each other and just burst out laughing in her face because it's like it's just like we just got the giggles and we were so just like over it at that point. And we just anytime I've run into him since then, we always remember that moment. And like because he said something like, we don't do that, whatever she was asking for. I can't remember what it was. And she was like, you don't do that? And we just started cracking up.
I love that. That's so great. That's not a bad, restaurant to have a job at. I liked California Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I worked there, but I love the food.
Yeah, I ate a lot of pizza.
Yeah, and they have great salads there. Jessica, It's always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here today. Don't forget to check out Jessica's new movie, Danger in the Spotlight, premiering August 27th on Lifetime. Have a great weekend. Doing anything fun for the weekend?
Oh, I'm just going to relax. I think do a little writing and maybe get some sunshine somewhere. Go to the beach.
Nice.
We'll see. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, so nice to talk to you.
You too. Stay well.
All right. You too. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Jessica, for stopping by today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. See you next Wednesday when Carolyn Hennessy joins me live. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can turn on the notifications to get reminders of all upcoming shows. And I will see you next week, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.